Hi everybody, my name's Janet and I work at Brighton Library, part of Bayside Library Service. I'm with you today to carry on our book chats. All the library branches do book chats, but obviously because of COVID we're filming. I want to reiterate that book chats are not a book club. They're not as formal as that. They are completely informal, non-literary, non-pretentious. You can come in to the library at the time of the book chat and talk about your favourite book. It can be a graphic novel, it can be a Superman, it can be a Star Wars. It doesn't matter. We just like talking about books. And as a host of the book chat, I usually have some books to show, new books, old favourites, and that's what I'm going to do today. Okay, our first book is The Reading List by Sarah Nisha Adams, a UK writer. It's her first novel. What a feast, the cover of this book. As I said, good publishing, reading, libraries, books, perfect. It's an absolute winner. If you haven't tried it, give it a go. I'm not going to tell you too much about the plot, but you might need a tissue box in a good way when you're reading this book. The characters are memorable. They are beautiful and they've all been influenced by a reading list left in a library book. I'm going to read you the list that's in the book. To Kill a Mockingbird, there's 8 books. To Kill a Mockingbird, Rebecca, The Kite Runner, Life of Pi, Pride and Prejudice, Little Women, do you believe it, Beloved, and A Suitable Boy. And this list influences, as I've said, the characters in the book. And there's some fabulous characters. And it's obviously all centred around books and libraries. I love this book. I also, when I finished it, thought, I could do that. So I tried to think of 8 books that have influenced me throughout my life and made stepping stones for me. I found it really hard. I thought maybe you would like to, once I've finished talking, go and do that and see what you come up with. The Reading List by Sarah Nisha Adams. A gem. Something a bit different. This is The Devil's Work by Gary Linnell. It's classified as true crime. It's non-fiction. Gary Linnell is an Australian writer who's written quite a number of books. The 2 that come to mind are Buckley's Chance, the escaped convict William Buckley that lived with the First Nations people, and Moonlight, about our very own bushranger, Captain Moonlight. All part of our history, and so is this one. I enjoyed this book and I'm chuckling because the story was quite amazing. It centres around a con man, bigamist, swindler, murderer, and to some respects a suspect as Jack the Ripper. The novel encompasses his exploits throughout the world, South Africa, Panama, England, and finally Australia. He was certainly a piece of work. I don't know whether he was was Jack the Ripper, but the evidence is quite clear. For all you Jack the Ripper fans, this could be it. Gary Linnell, a fabulous book, The Devil's Work. Give it a go. All right. What another lovely cover. Can't judge a book by its cover, is the old saying. This is Wild Abandon by Emily Bitto. Now, Emily Bitto won lots of prizes for her first novel, The Strays, about an artist colony in Heidelberg or Preston or Box Hill or wherever. And it was a fabulous read and I loved it. And I thought that I'd try her second one, Wild Abandon. Something very different to The Strays. It's classified as a runaway novel. A young Australian young man, escaping heartbreak, as they sometimes do, travels to the USA and embraces life in all its guises. He befriends or meets a Vietnam vet who collects exotic animals. Now, this is an incredibly unlikely friendship, but it works. It's an amazing book. I really liked it. Wild Abandon, Emily Bitto. Okay, now for something completely different. You're going to think I'm off my head? Probably. Nessie by Nick Redfern. As a child, I was fascinated by the legends and myths of Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster. And you're all scoffing now, aren't you? Yeah. Well, apparently, Nessie was first seen in 565 AD. Do you believe it? And since then, there have been many, many sightings, many proofs, photos, documents, etc., until the present day. I was fascinated by this book. Our myths and legends beliefs are challenged in this book. There are other myths and legends that Nick Redfern writes about in this book, all amazing. Now you're saying to me, what a load of hogwash, Janet. You've lost your credibility. Well, I say to you, read it and it might change your mind. A lovely gem. Nessie by Nick Redfern. All right, I've got a lot of Australian books in here, actually, I've just realised, but here's another one. Why not? Our Shadows by Gail Jones. Gail Jones is an obviously Australian writer who's written quite a number of novels, and they've all been fabulous. This one is fabulous too. Very well researched, an amazing story. Now, I didn't actually know that this book was based on fact until I rang my friend in Western Australia and told her about it. And she said, oh yes, I know about that. Well, it's about a family from Ireland, initially, who travelled the world, and he was a bit of a gold miner, and he came to Australia and made his fortune and founded the city of Kalgoorlie because he found apparently the most amazing amount of gold. And, in fact, there is a statue of Paddy Hannon in the main street of Kalgoorlie, which is what my friend told me. And so it all sort of resonated with me. It made sense. I used to live in Western Australia. The book is about our history, again, mining, the war, families, love, death. And it's told primarily through Paddy Hannon's descendants, not his daughters, but successive generations to two sisters. And I loved it. I really liked it. At times, the writing I felt was a little esoteric, but when I thought back on it, those esoteric bits worked in beautifully with the plot. This is a gem. Well, it wouldn't be my book chat without a crime book. And I try always to find something a little bit different. I don't just want to do the James Pattersons and the Jeffrey Archers. Again, an Australian one. Very first novel. She has written lots of essays and bits of writing over the years. The Silent Listener by Lynn Yoart. Now, I apologise, Lynn, if I've mispronounced your surname, but I'm saying Yoart. The Silent Listener. As crime novels go, this is not formulaic. There's no there is a vague mention of police. There's no sort of murder and things. Instead, it's a rural family in Australia. Lots of plot twists, amazingly so. Fabulous characters. I really enjoyed reading this. Now, I read a lot of crime and I pride myself on the ability to know who the murderer is or who the culprit is. However, every time I thought I was right with this book, it changed. It didn't disappoint me, made me really, really pleased. Finally, a crime book that made sense to me. And it isn't until the very last stages of the book that you actually work out who it is. I loved it. Please give it a go. And because this is her first novel, I'm hoping that she's going to write a lot more. All right, well, that's it for me. I hope you go and make your reading list and see if you can find 8 books that really influenced you. I hope also that you enjoyed the book chat, and I love talking about books, obviously. So hopefully next year I hope to see you in the libraries and in person joining our book chats. And if you've got any recommendations, please post them online. That'd be great. All right. See you. Bye for now. Bye-bye.